What is going on, guys? Craig1287 here, bringing you some Star Wars Battlefront beta tips and tricks. This is going to be a series of short videos with about 1 to maybe 3 tips and tricks per video, and it's just going to be some tips that I've discovered while playing the beta of Star Wars Battlefront, and some of these may not be applicable when the full game comes out. I definitely plan to continue making tips and tricks videos when the full game comes out that also have new ones that I have discovered. Some of these videos are going to include tips and tricks, and I don't have actual footage to go with the tip or trick. I do apologize for that, but I had very limited amount of time with the beta, and I wasn't able to sift through all the footage for that 1 30-second part where I used one of these tips and tricks. So I do hope you guys enjoy these tips and tricks. If you have any of your own, please post them in the comments, and I'll try to get footage of that when the full game comes out and include it if it is a good enough tip or trick. So let's get straight to the first few tips. Now, this first tip is going to be a pretty general one. It's going to apply to no matter what game mode or team you are on. In this, you're going to notice I pull off 3 of the successful speed reloads. And pay attention to the size of the reload. The size of that yellow section where you can successfully pull off the reload, it gets smaller every time you have a successful reload. And right here, I'm going to upload a picture onto Imager and put that in the video description below, where you can just pause it there and see how much smaller the yellow section gets each time. So check that out. So this tip right here is focusing on balancing your equipment. Here I'm shooting at this ATST, I'm shooting at the AT-AT, and I'm using the... sometimes I just let my weapon cool down before it overheats like this. I'm just giving my cycler rifle there some time to cool down. And I do pull off a bad snipe on this guy. The screen's shaking a lot and all chaos is happening. But use the time of your weapon cooling off, or if you want to pull off a speed reload, you can also do that, but always pop off your cycler rifle when you get a chance when you're doing these attacks against these vehicles. It really helps to maximize your damage output if you don't happen to have something that you can use, like if you don't have a turret readily available, if you're not in an X-Wing, you know, if you're just an infantry on the ground, then use that cycler rifle. You know, once it becomes available, just switch to it, use it, switch back to your primary weapon, and use that as your cycler rifle is cooling down. And if you can avoid those speed reloads, you know, to make it so where you're not getting the more difficult one, you know, do that. Just let your weapon commonly cool down. So right here, you're going to see I pick up one of the battle pickups that are on the map. I get the anti-vehicle turret. It's an automated turret, and I put it right there for a very specific reason. I know, and you'll see all these hit markers that I'm getting from it, that this is where the AT-ST spawns. And look at that. Nobody else has been shooting it, and it's already at around 1/3 of its health. And so here, I decide I'm just going to keep popping out, distracting it. He's hopefully going to keep shooting at me, and I'm going to keep using that same tactic, that tip that I said before, of bouncing between your cycler rifle and your primary. And I'm just trying to distract him so that he's not shooting that automated turret that I put out. And I alone, with that turret, cycler rifle, and my main gun, took that ATST out before he could even get anywhere close to our objective. Now in this clip, you're seeing I just picked up the orbital strike. That was actually right at the start of the round. If you looked at the score when I picked it up, we had just all spawned in. I picked it up very first thing, and this is now 5 minutes, I think 40 seconds later. I held on to that thing the entire time, and you'll see here I'm calling it in just in front of the ATST, the AT-AT. And just look at the top center of your screen. Look at the health of that AT-AT. That one orbital strike just took it down by about 75% damage. That's incredible. So using these tactics, the rebels actually can do quite well in the Walker Assault mode. And reading forum posts and watching other videos, it looks like most people considered this mode to be heavily unbalanced, favoring the Empire side, and the Rebels were always getting screwed over. But you saw there, in that clip that just ended, we ended up taking out both the AT-ATs on the second round. Here we take out the very first AT-AT in the first round, and right here, look at the score. We had just that tiny little sliver of health on the AT-AT, the second AT-AT, right as the first wave ended. We're just now starting the second wave. Here you see Y-Wings inbound, and it's already done. We killed both the AT-AT walkers by the very start of just the second wave. So with these tips, if you and all of your teammates are using these tips, the orbital strikes, balancing between all the different weapons that you have available, and again, this is just beta. We haven't even had access to things like the ion rocket that you can get as an upgrade. So yeah, Rebels, you're going to be fine in Walker Assault. So use these tips to help yourselves out in the Walker Assault mode. Some of the next upcoming tips and tricks videos are going to be more general and also apply to some of the other modes like Drop Zone. So I hope you guys enjoyed these tips, and I hope that they help you to become a better player when Battlefront does come out. Hope you guys enjoyed all of it. Have a good one. Ta-ta.